Yes.
Мгм.
Eat.
Есть.
Excellent,
Отлично.
excellent. So,
Отлично.
the
Так,
most important thing
самый
is that you
простой,
heard me
очень
well.
хорошо.
That is
Поэтому
precisely why we will periodically
периодически
be
будем
somewhat distracted by some additional, perhaps even
отвлекаться
intriguing questions.
на какие-то
Now,
вопросы
everyone is
дополнительные.
connecting, and I will commence already.
Сейчас
I
первым
can
делом
clearly see
все
everything.
начну уже
And please do write in the
сразу.
chat. There, in the chat, you can
Вот в
certainly
чате
write how
пишите,
well
да,
you
в
can
чате
hear me.
можно писать, как меня
I,
слышно.
if
Если
you
меня
can hear
слышно,
me,
в принципе, я
then
уже,
in
значит,
principle, I'll
готов к
already
общению.
start because we shifted the time
Все
a little.
успели?
Yes, great.
Отлично.
I
Не
don't
очень
really
удобно
like
вещать
broadcasting live in
в
public
общественных
places,
местах, но
but
тем не менее,
nevertheless, sometimes it
иногда это
absolutely has
приходится,
to be
потому что
done
я двигаюсь
because I'm
и
constantly
планирую, и
moving around the
надо
world, and I still
все-таки
truly
быть
need to stay
на
afloat with you in the flow
плаву
of
с вами,
things,
в
you know.
потоке, как я
Yes,
это
that's what I call
называю.
it.
Мгм.
Yes, here.
Вот.
So
Начнем мы
today we've
сегодня
set the
такая
topic of
тема,
the broadcast as how we can connect our
как мы
understanding
можем
of
соединить
karma
наши понятия
with
кармы
what
с
we
тем, что
experience in
мы
life
ощущаем
and with
в
what we
жизни и то,
succeed
что у
or
нас
don't
получается или не
succeed at.
получается.
And this
И
topic is
тема
always very
эта
relevant and highly
очень
significant because what we do
всегда
inherently
актуальна,
possesses
потому
some kind
что
of cyclical and
то, что
recurring
мы
nature.
делаем,
This means that certain
оно имеет
patterns and
какое-то
phases tend to repeat over time, and it is precisely this fascinating
предпочтительность.
aspect that we
И
will
вот
delve into and
об этом мы
discuss
и
in detail.
поговорим. Потому
Because there are
что
so many incredibly
в мире
diverse and
много
subtle
разных
nuances in the world that we constantly have to navigate
нюансов,
and overcome. And
которые
for some inexplicable
мы
reason, there are certain
преодолеваем и
significant
которые
things
не
we just can't
получается у
seem
нас
to fully
почему-то
achieve or
достичь.
accomplish.
И
And a
очень
lot of people
многие
associate
связывают
this with
это
some
с
kind of karmic
каким-то мистическим
experience.
опытом. И
And
на
actually,
самом
why
деле, почему я
exactly am I
поднимаю
bringing up this
эту тему?
particular
Потому
topic?
что
Because the vast
люди,
majority
которые
of people
приходят
who
ко мне
come
на
to my
понятия, они,
practices, they
естественно,
naturally already fully understand
уже
what this is truly about.
понимают, что это
Um,
такое.
and
И
most
самое
importantly,
главное,
many people
многие
place
так
such
задают на
emphasis on
это
this and ask questions
свои
about it, and
вопросы,
as a
и здесь,
result, these
здесь как
things are
раз
revealed
начинается
in the
тема.
body.
И это очень важно,
It's very important to
что
understand that
те,
absolutely all
которые
the answers to the
содержатся,
questions you might
все
have
ответы
are
на
contained
вопросы,
within the
которые бы
human
вы
body.
могли бы получить
And in body-oriented
в
therapy,
телесной
when we
терапии,
direct our
когда мы
attention to the
уходим на
body,
плане
these
тела,
answers
они
emerge.
появляются.
That's
Поэтому
precisely
один
why
из
one
таких
of the
моментов
absolutely key
важных,
points is that we
когда
can
мы
indeed
можем
ask questions and
задавать вопросы и
subsequently
получать
receive
ответы
profound
через
answers
тело.
directly through the body
Вот,
itself.
потому что
So, because
с одной
on the one
стороны
hand, the Neurowave method,
метод нейроволна,
which
который
I
я
personally
практикую и
practice and
который я
actively promote,
популяризирую, говорит,
clearly
что
states
да,
that
мы
yes,
можем
we can
высвобождать
effectively release certain
какие-то
deep-seated
какие-то
tensions,
напряженности,
specific blocks,
какие-то
and
зажимы,
accumulated stress
какой-то
from the
стресс
physical
из
body.
тела. Это с
That's
одной
one side of
стороны.
it.
Но с
But
другой
on the other
стороны,
hand, of course,
мы,
we want to
естественно,
find the
хотим эту
connection.
связку
What
сделать
exactly is
обратно.
it?
И вопросы,
And the
которые
questions that I ask my
я
clients,
задаю
well, they
своим
also
клиентам,
intrigue me as
они
well.
также меня
Why?
тоже будоражат.
Because I'm
Почему? Потому что я
curious.
любопытный, мне
I
хочется
want to
понимать,
understand and
что
see
действительно
that
то,
what
что
we are releasing is
мы
actually
высвобождаем, это как-то
connected to
связано.
something.
И вот один из моментов — это то,
And
что мы
one of the
можем
things is that we can
увидеть
see
связку
a
с чем-то
connection
большим.
to
Или
something
просто в
bigger.
нашей жизни что-то
It's
ощущается
not just that we feel something in our lives, but that we've gone through
какое-то
some kind
препятствие,
of
пережили,
obstacle.
и в
And at
какой-то
some
момент мы
point
понимаем,
we
что
realize that
это
this
препятствие, оно
obstacle comes
еще
up
раз
again,
возникает. Да? И
right? And the
самый
most difficult
такой
case is
сложный
when we
момент —
actually
это
feel
тогда,
it.
когда мы
It's
уже
already in the
находимся
body,
в
in the
физическом
physical
теле.
body,
Да?
right?
И
And here the
многие
question
вопросы
arises,
возникают,
why has it
почему это
already
так
manifested
сложно на
physically?
физику. То
In
есть
other words,
это
it's quite difficult,
достаточно
but
сложно.
nevertheless, if it does
Тем не
happen,
менее,
honestly, it's actually the
если оно
easiest for us to
легче всего,
recognize
честно
and the
говоря, набрать
easiest for us to
познать, и легче
pull
всего
out.
вытащить.
That's it.
Вот, потому
Because
что
we have our
мы
five
с вами
senses,
имеем
and only
наши
when
пять
we use
чувств.
them do we tend to
И
believe in
только
it
тогда,
more.
когда мы их используем, мы больше в это верим.
Very few people
Мало
actually
очень
use any
кто
kind of
использует
visualization.
визуализацию. Это
You
нужно
need to be
прокачивать
exceptionally well
так,
trained
чтобы
for that,
с
right? So that
закрытыми глазами,
with your eyes completely
находясь
closed in
на
some kind of
ощущении
alternative
трансцендинга, да,
sensation
в
or a
районе
deeply subconscious
подсознания,
state, you
мы
could clearly
могли
see
увидеть какие-то
vivid
картинки
images from the
из
past,
прошлого,
perhaps from a
вот,
previous
из
life, and
прошлой
so on,
какой-то жизни
with
и
great
так далее,
clarity,
и задавать
and always
вопросы
ask
о
questions
карме.
about karma.
Но
But naturally, we will
мы,
primarily
естественно,
focus
остановимся
on
на
the
понятии
fundamental
баланса.
conceptual
Сейчас,
framework.
в
So
принципе,
basically, just to make it
что по
abundantly
балансу?
clear for you once
Еще
again, so
раз
it truly settles and firmly establishes
в
itself
голове
in your
ложусь,
mind. Because everything that we touch with our focused attention, everything that we cannot physically see, everything that we cannot physically feel with our hands, and naturally we acquire this valuable information, first from various reliable sources, from certain insightful books, second, from what someone else has thoughtfully said, and third, we begin to truly imagine and elaborate upon this profound concept ourselves. So basically, I ended up with precisely the same impression, a very strong and consistent one. But at this crucial point, there's another profoundly important aspect that truly demands our attention. I have specific individuals who were actual practitioners deeply involved in their field and who directly and candidly shared what they personally saw and genuinely felt. And that's something we absolutely cannot just ignore or choose not to utilize because that represents a primary and invaluable source. That's the fundamental knowledge I'm diligently forming. Once again, I truly want to emphasize that the unique nature of what I know and can do comes precisely from the fact that I take it directly from clients, from you. In other words, you have personally lived through these experiences and you are currently somewhere in that process and you then tell me all about it. So it's from this comprehensive system that I will actually be sharing my detailed insights, right? So what people have written in various books somewhere, sometimes it deeply resonates in my mind, right? But the foundation, right? And the very first foundation, I always tell everyone who comes to my course, I start with the first thing. Do you believe that you have a soul? Yes. Right? There you go. So I think that the people who are listening to me now, both here and on the channel, are people who have already gone through some experience of personal development, right? And increased awareness. That's why you understand perfectly well that there is a soul in the body. You understand perfectly well that we are not alone in this world, right? You understand perfectly well that this is not our first time here. There you go. And in connection with this, a question arises. If you have come here not for the first time, then accordingly, you came here for a reason. And this for a reason. That is precisely what we call the intention or the specific request you consciously set for yourself in order to experience a certain feeling in this life, to truly live through something entirely new. And now we will go through all these important points in detail. Why is it truly important to know this particular information? Because whatever ultimately works out or doesn't quite work out in your life is, in essence, a direct consequence of something significant, a consequence that leads you to not feel complete satisfaction from life, or perhaps you simply cannot achieve something meaningful. That's precisely why we're going to carefully sort this out together, utilizing this comprehensive conceptual framework. First of all, the goals you set for yourself in this life naturally are meant to be fulfilled. Not someone else, not some unclear person whispering in your ear, or a mentor telling you, or anything like that, right? The point is that you are living your own life, and accordingly, you can only do what you sense, what you feel. So quite naturally, it consistently turns out that you meticulously set a specific and well-defined goal for yourself in order to effectively accomplish something significant in this world. That's it. And another point is to feel it, to understand that this is truly what you are living for. Right? So in any case, it needs to be fulfilled. And this doesn't mean, that is, it truly means that your mission is complete. No. There are always some additional things, right? Like when you've played a captivating computer game. There's a certain concept of mission accomplished, but you can still freely wander around in that expansive area and collect some delightful little gifts, so to speak, discover hidden secret rooms and surprising elements, grab valuable bonuses, and effectively level up your essential skills. Basically, it's all the same fundamental thing. So it turns out that the very first and most important thing is the specific task you have to experience in order to genuinely gain some valuable kind of experience. Why do you set yourself such a significant task? Why do you need this experience? First and foremost, it is the significant experience that you did not fully complete or realize in your previous incarnation, in your prior existence and life journey. Or it could be something that is meant for you from above. So it doesn't necessarily have to be some kind of problem that needs to be solved in this life. There can indeed be many different and diverse variations or permutations, but nevertheless, this fundamental principle is, so to speak, the essential and crucial task that, as a distinct and measurable unit of energy, absolutely needs to be successfully and thoroughly completed. That's why we talk about a certain kind of cyclicality. That's it. It's clear that everything we do, all our energy, all our thoughts, it's our attention, where we direct our attention, all of that comes from energy. But it's always important to work with your state. Basically, we're now approaching the most important point, because you might have some money, material possessions, cars, a husband, children, and so on. You might travel all over the world, but still feel dissatisfied with what you have. That's it. And if you don't have that profound sense of deep satisfaction, it basically means that you haven't truly achieved your intended karmic experience. That's essentially it. And a karmic experience fundamentally means you need to overcome something significant, right? That's why, quite naturally, the main question everyone in the world consistently asks themselves is, how can we truly feel better? When people come to me with questions about money, relationships, and so on, that's not the real issue. We always work with the state of being. We always work so that a person feels satisfaction from what they already have. If they don't have that, if they don't feel satisfaction, some people, even after achieving it, still end up feeling empty and still don't get any pleasure from it. That's it. And it's precisely this state that's important to capture, because that's when we can make a breakthrough. That's what we do in our practices. And it's the body that actually reveals this sensation. What did I want to talk about? About karmic experience, which is stored in the body. Look, our human body, of course, is still largely unexplored and holds many intricate layers, with much about its complex systems yet to be fully understood. If you remember my logo, the Neurowave, there are indeed dots in the very center and clear lines on the left and right sides, much like a flowing wave. If you've perhaps forgotten, you can easily check any reel, anything, my channel, and so on. So there are multiple layers inside, actually. Naturally, the flow is structured and organized. I've designated it as the Neurowave method, much like the way signals travel along neurons. But in general, energy flows for some reason. So I'm talking about layers that truly give us the incredible opportunity to go through a certain experience and then subsequently go much deeper. These layers, one of the layers is, for example, karmic experience. And when we work, people realize that the problem, that tension, that feeling is connected to some past life they didn't live correctly. There are 2 points. The first and most important point, when a person feels some pain within their body and senses that something significant is indeed going on here. Let's put it this way. I'll give you some illustrative examples drawn directly from practical experience. This is because many individuals who have attended my practices, including those who are already accomplished masters themselves, and most likely you will also find this experience to be quite necessary, and some will even recognize themselves within these very examples. For example, let's say if you feel some kind of significant heaviness somewhere within your body, and you come to realize that this particular heaviness doesn't have any discernible physical explanation at all. I mean that your organs don't hurt, but you have a sensation in a specific spot as if there's some kind of heaviness. And at this particular point in time, if we truly enter an altered state of consciousness, we can clearly see the profound experience that was specifically and directly connected to this significant problem. The very last instance of this was a distinct sensation, as if something had been deeply pierced, yes. So, for example, a person left a past life and was actually pierced there, say by an arrow or, I don't know, a spear or something like that. Naturally, they left this life in a state where they felt unwell and couldn't get through it. That's the first point. It doesn't have any kind of karmic connection or specific purpose. It's just a heaviness, that's all. So the task was to interrupt this experience and make it so that the person would feel more fulfilled. On one hand, this is on a physical level when we remove this kind of simulation or body memory. On the other hand, if the energy structure that pierced the person is removed, then naturally the energy flows normally again. So the energy flows normally, and accordingly, it gives you the opportunity to get more out of life, let's say, to feel more, right? So in any case, it affects your sensations, your self-fulfillment. The second point is when the body also shows somewhere in the chest area or lower that something is wrong. Often, for example, what can I say about that? A man reached out. He was, I don't remember exactly, I think he was from the States. Yes, it was a man from the United States who reached out and explained that for some inexplicable reason, he simply couldn't establish meaningful relationships with women. He genuinely couldn't comprehend why all women seemed to turn away from him, why absolutely nothing ever worked out for him. That is to say, even if something did manage to work out and he entered into a romantic relationship, within literally just a day or two, it would invariably come to an abrupt and complete end. That's how it was. And there just isn't any real connection. There are so many answers to this particular question, you truly can't even begin to imagine just how numerous they are. So it might seem like a relatively simple request concerning relationships, but the underlying reasons for this happening are indeed very numerous and incredibly complex. And sometimes I honestly don't even know how it can be accurately diagnosed or fully understood. The only way is simply with the significant and profound help of a neurowave, we can truly go into an altered state, and then it naturally unfolds. What happened? The person shows it. They get an immediate image, a distinct feeling. Oh, I'm somewhere deep inside some ancient grand castle. I say, all right, let's see what's there. They fell into a regression. That's how it is. How? Well, I don't know. Some people have the ability, some don't. It truly depends on how developed individuals are. Nevertheless, if this particular situation arises, well, I can confidently say that if a person has already had some significant experience with regression, then it becomes quite easy for them to go there. So for some individuals, if they happen to have that profound experience, I think it's remarkably easy for them to fully enter into that particular state. He vividly saw himself within some grand castle, and he distinctly says, "Around me, I am a man, indeed some kind of powerful warrior, a true conqueror." Just a second. I'm a conqueror, a dominant figure, and there are a multitude of women surrounding me, a vast number of women, and I am forcibly taking them. I'm violating them. I am engaging in extremely depraved and harmful sexual acts with them, asserting my power in the most brutal ways. In other words, that experience from his past life, his karmic experience, doesn't allow him and he hasn't completed it, right? So he came in order to, let's say, build that experience differently. That is to make it so that in this life he can build relationships with women differently, to learn this. But first and foremost, he needed to let go of that connection, accept it, become aware of it, and accordingly atone for it. Right? So the crucial question is, how exactly does he atone for his actions? And what precisely should he do with these women after he fully receives this significant information? That is already the path of each individual. So, my essential task as a body therapist was to carefully find the deep-seated cause, thoroughly relieve the built-up tension from the whole body, and, if possible, entirely remove that troublesome connection so that it would no longer trouble him in a lasting manner. And if afterwards he needs to choose a certain specific path in this particular incarnation, it will already be specifically with those people with whom he will interact quite differently. So this is indeed one of the significant variations when some karmic experience, yes, truly comes up in the context of body therapy. There are a lot of questions of distrust towards the environment, towards other people, and importantly, towards oneself. And we always separate these things, always. We separate ourselves, we separate the environment, because these are completely different understandings of what is happening. That is to say, we can truly create ourselves and the entire surrounding space around us, can't we? And in general, we can consider it as a certain fundamental space that exists even without us being present. And of course, we naturally attract certain wonderful opportunities to ourselves. That is absolutely it. And it's important to work through every moment in life that gives you, in this case, answers to your questions, and then you'll be in a state of flow. If you experience, now let's move on to discussing triggers in more detail. Let me remind you, my dear friends, that right now I am still speaking to you live in real time, sharing with you my profound understanding and personal insights into what karma truly is, its intricate workings, and how we can effectively go deep into the wisdom of our own bodies to discover profound answers to our most pressing questions through the transformative practice of body therapy, specifically utilizing the unique principles and techniques of my proven method. Isn't that right? That's it. And the second important point is that we will also chat a little bit more together. During this live broadcast, I will also be giving you some time at the very end where I will answer all of your questions. And accordingly, we will certainly find some more effective and lasting solutions. Today, we don't have any specific practice session planned, but I personally want you to fully understand the truly multifaceted nature of what genuinely exists within our human experience. If you join my course or participate in my practices and set an intention for yourself to work through or to understand whether these problems are connected to some of your karmic experiences, then they will manifest. Nothing in life manifests just like that unless you stray from your path. In other words, triggers often appear precisely when life is actively trying to gently correct your course. And if you have strayed significantly from your intended path, from that so-called optimal state of flow, then someone or something will gently give you a subtle nudge, guiding you back to where you truly need to be. That's how it works. Just like those people who come to my sessions or courses, they always receive some interesting sign from the universe that tells them, I need to be there. That's precisely how it is. Of course, this absolutely doesn't mean that I will personally solve your karmic issues for you, but if you genuinely feel that something deeply resonates with you, that there is a certain persistent cyclicality in your life that you just can't seem to overcome, then perhaps this information can be truly helpful. If the obstacles you feel are so incredibly difficult and even profoundly destructive for you, if you truly realize that you don't possess a deep sense of satisfaction with life, and you find yourself unable, among many other things, to clearly find your own unique and authentic path forward. These are, in general, very common and deeply personal questions that many individuals grapple with, but I fundamentally assess, or rather, I fundamentally look at some underlying karmic issue that might be at play here, right? Well, for example, I also spent a considerable amount of time thinking about, say, my own personal karma, right? Contemplating what specific challenges I have to diligently work through, what essential tasks I have to accomplish, and so on, in order to progress on my spiritual journey. Naturally, my personal path could also serve as a valuable example for you. It could be just the very same, right? An illustrative example that if you're diligently doing something and it's simply not working out as intended, just drop it, completely leave it behind, and absolutely do not waste your precious energy. That's truly it. But again, I want to clarify this important point. This doesn't mean that you spend, say, an entire week on something. It doesn't work out as planned, and you just say, to hell with it, I'll do something else entirely. No. Of course, it should be after you've spent a truly significant amount of your valuable time and energy to the point where you're just completely exhausted, right? I mean, that's it. It's just not working. That's all. It's just that some people are stubborn, so to avoid that kind of stubbornness, where you start butting heads with the universe, you should simply be in a state of acceptance. No, I'll take a different path. So when you start working through karmic issues related to your purpose, to why you are here, you'll see how much easier life becomes right away. That's it. That's precisely why I will actually be profoundly interested and genuinely curious if individuals consciously choose to approach me, whether it be for private sessions or for group practices, specifically with their insightful questions concerning the intricate principles and effects of karma. So set such meaningful and profound goals for yourself, and you will undoubtedly see the clear answers to them. You can simply, in your ongoing process of self-realization, ask yourself a pertinent question before peacefully going to bed or while diligently doing something else. Is this particular problem truly part of my karma that I genuinely need to resolve and address? And if you set such clear and strong intentions, you will certainly receive insightful answers from the vast universe, answers in the form of subtle yet powerful triggers that come your way, guiding your path. In other words, if it's not, the issue will be resolved very quickly. If it is, then it will intensify. So please be genuinely curious and consistently keep asking yourself insightful questions. Questions like, what exactly is this phenomenon? Why precisely is this occurring in this particular manner? And most importantly, you should actively ask the vast universe to provide you with some clear and undeniable kind of sign or indication. And most importantly, after that, pay attention to the signs rather than just saying, give me signs. Sometimes, even if an apple hits someone on the head, they still won't get it, and someone else might not understand even after being hit. So you need to be very, very attentive to the little things. These could be inscriptions somewhere or random interesting people. Exactly. It could be a different route you've never taken before, for example, right? But you keep walking the very same route over and over again, and so on. So that's precisely why a clear and prominent sign is extremely, indeed extremely important. If you happen to notice them, you'll always be in a continuous state of flow. Well, basically, just like I am too. When I consciously choose a certain path and actively manifest, for example, a specific direction, a particular course of study, a specialized training program, or even a new country to live in, it does not automatically mean that this desired outcome will materialize 100% of the time. I simply send out my clear intention, and the universe then provides me with essential feedback, indicating whether that particular aspiration is truly possible or not. But I don't just sit on the couch. I'm constantly sending out branches of probability in different directions. I might have a lot of different countries written down, a lot of different trainings. They might not necessarily come to full fruition 100% of the time, but when they are truly manifested, they will certainly find certain individuals who will bring forth not money, for example, but rather some valuable opportunities. I don't have any specific goals related to money in my plans, and I never truly have had any, in the sense of having to make a certain number of checks, a certain precise amount per day, per month, or spend a specific amount of time, and so on. I have one main overarching mission: to bring more significant value to people, to help as many individuals as humanly possible. If this is an honest and genuine intention, if you are an open and receptive space, then it usually works out quite well, always and absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, you truly cannot even begin to imagine just how easily and effortlessly you can resolve your karmic tasks and effectively work them off. What was sent down to me much later, as I eventually realized, was that when things simply weren't working out particularly well for me, and when I clearly said I genuinely wanted to help other people, but honestly didn't know precisely how to do so, I initially thought I would just meditate, or perhaps do something from afar, something along those lines. But many significant things that I powerfully manifested, I ultimately wasn't given as a practical tool, but I am profoundly grateful for the valuable tool I did indeed receive. Yes, meaning how I can feel with my hands. And most importantly, it wasn't by pure chance that I went through the path of pedagogy before this, because it later gave me the essential knowledge to convey valuable information to you here. naturally. That's why we're simply going through this particular path. And most importantly, it's profoundly about how we truly feel ourselves, how we deeply sense ourselves within this expansive space, how incredibly harmonious I am. If there's something like, well, damn, I genuinely don't want this. I desire something significantly more. I fully understand that I can certainly do much more, but I genuinely don't know precisely what. For this very reason, let's thoughtfully open up some sections of insightful books or carefully look at people who deeply resonate with us, who are actively engaged in something truly meaningful. And let's begin to truly start realizing ourselves, which is basically what I consistently and wholeheartedly suggest to you. If you don't know who you are or what you want, just go into the practice of interacting with people, listen to your body, and there you'll find answers to your questions, including karmic ones. Tasks. This is very important. So now I'll go back to my list. My video might lag a bit because I'm going to open another tab with my notes, and then we'll continue. Just a second. Okay. I'm just checking what I've already said and what else I can share with you from my own experience. Yes, I'm coming back. So, in any case, the state. Can you hear and see me now? Someone please write in the chat if you can hear and see me because I switched over. Yes, you can hear me. Great, perfect, because when I switch applications, it might disconnect. Good. So, I believe the most important task for any person on planet Earth is to live in the flow, a flow where you can feel joy from the very first day and from the future you're paving for yourself. You know, when you wake up in the morning and feel like, damn, nothing interesting is going to happen today, and you're just not interested in waking up, not interested in going anywhere, not interested in feeling or hearing anything, nothing excites you. Well, who's stopping you from creating a different kind of day and a different future? I mean, you're the one creating it. You can find any group of people, any business, anything at all. In the worst case, if nothing comes to mind, you can always do some practices. In this case, I specifically recorded a set of Taoist practices, Taoist circles, shaking, and so on. I sell it for 7,000 rubles on my channel, just so you have some practices and physically you can shake up your energy field and feel yourself. After that, you start asking yourself questions and get answers. And those answers are so that you can be present in every day, feeling that the day fills you up. And the people who come into your space fill you up. Instead of you constantly giving your energy away to some space, you open some Excel table, open your Instagram or website, you see numbers, and they start to drain you. You feel lacking, you feel not enough. If that's happening, close it. Why look at something that drains your energy? If you don't have the desire or strength to do something that distracts you in life, then clearly that's not what you should be doing. Don't waste your time on nonsense. Don't meet with people who drain your energy and don't talk to them. There's a great video where a psychologist provides psychological help in 4 minutes, where he says, "Oh, stop." So when someone comes and says, "I want to, but I can't, I'm scared," stop being afraid, stop doing it. And in that pause, when we all say, enough, how much longer? The real question is, you've already spent so much energy, effort, and time. How can I end it? How can I send them away? How can I wrap this up? Well, your excuses are just that, excuses. You have to admit to yourself that enough is enough. Stop wasting time on nonsense. That's why you start moving to other cities, creating new businesses, relationships, and so on. So, please, if you realize you're losing energy, you wake up tired, don't want to do anything. Nothing is stopping you from ending that. I've basically answered the main questions. Now I'm going to the chat. Not the chat, but on my channel there are people. You can raise your hand. There's a feature in the channel to raise your hand. When you do, I give you access to the microphone and you can speak. I'll listen to you with my headphones. We can have a conversation and I'll answer your questions. Right now, there are 62 people in the chat, so let's take advantage of this opportunity. You can just say thank you for the stream, share some insight from your personal practice, or ask me a question. If something comes up, maybe we'll do something else interesting. But if you don't raise your hand, I won't be able to turn on your microphone. The stream was recorded, as I mentioned, so you'll be able to listen to it again. And again, my friends, I don't go live that often, so I'll be happy to chat with you. I see a lot of people here I've already interacted with, some I've met in person. If you don't know how to turn on your mic or raise your hand, write in the chat and we'll figure it out. I see Tata has raised her hand. I'm giving permission to speak. Mic is on so you can talk.
I want to say thank you so much for the meditations, for the marathons, for participating in them and offering all of this for free so that we can work through practices using your meditations. And you explained why sometimes it doesn't work, because I think many yogis and other people have problems not just with meditation itself, but with making it actually work. And what you talk about, that you need to work specifically with what gives you energy, what brings you energy. Right now, I want to change my job. And your lectures really do give me the strength and energy to change everything, because change is scary. Your lectures and explanations truly give me the strength to overcome my fear. I'm already over 30 and it's very hard to do. So thank you for helping people, guiding and supporting them.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate all the valuable feedback you've provided. It's always quite challenging for us to embark on something entirely new, especially when it pertains to our professional work and careers. No matter how many times I've personally changed jobs throughout my life, and I've actually worked at some specific places for as long as 30 years, when you make that significant change, it often feels as though there's absolutely nothing positive ahead, just an overwhelming sense of darkness and uncertainty. However, usually, as soon as you make that firm decision, even if you haven't physically quit your current position yet, but have simply made up your mind and committed to the change, something profound and transformative begins to shift and change in the very space around you. Life is almost always very favorable and supportive to those individuals who are willing to take calculated risks, who are genuinely open to embracing new and exciting challenges. There are some people who in principle simply can't work at the very same place for more than half a year or so. I sometimes stuck it out for the sake of my beloved kids and their well-being. At some critical point, you're essentially forced to work, otherwise there's absolutely nothing available to feed your family with. If your current financial situation isn't too difficult or precarious, then of course it's undoubtedly better to change, to switch to something that truly fills you up and brings you genuine fulfillment. The hardest part, by far, is working for yourself, because at a regular traditional job, at least you have some guaranteed and stable income, but when you work for yourself, it's completely unknown and often quite unpredictable. But you'll see how quickly and wonderfully the space opens up for you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm turning off now. Thank you, Lena. I'm giving you access right now. Go ahead. Hello, hello. I've given you access, Lena. I'm listening attentively. You can speak freely. Please turn on your microphone and so on, because access is now fully open for you.
Hello there. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, everyone. To all of you who are present in this particular space, I extend my warmest greetings to each and every one of you. First and foremost, I truly want to express my profound gratitude for the truly enriching and insightful experience I had when I was given the wonderful opportunity to participate as a model in the course. It was an absolutely amazing and transformative experience that left a lasting impression on me. For some time now, I can't precisely pinpoint whether this phenomenon started before or after that specific experience, but what I can definitively say is that right now, it has become much more pronounced and actively noticeable in my daily life. There's this very distinct moment, typically when I am just on the verge of falling asleep, drifting into slumber, and suddenly, something quite spontaneous and unexpected activates within me. It's not exactly what I would describe as a wave, but rather in the very specific area of the pelvis, there are these incredibly strong, almost jolt-like contractions that occur. It's not really painful in a sharp or agonizing way, but I just don't quite fully understand if I need to actively do something extra to address it, or if it simply doesn't signify anything at all and is just a natural occurrence. It's as if this sensation has become increasingly noticeable and prominent, and I genuinely don't know what its true nature or origin is. I tend to associate it with perhaps some kind of energetic activation, a release of energy, or perhaps something entirely different and unknown. It's just become very tangible and undeniably present in my physical experience.
But the most important thing, the main thing, is the sensation itself. Look at it closely, and for absolutely everyone, if you experience some new and distinct sensation, especially a very pronounced one, take a moment and ask yourself, do you truly like it or not?
It's quite interesting. It's truly interesting. I certainly can't say that it's some kind of genuinely pleasurable sensation. No, it's absolutely not. Well, you really can't accurately call it pleasure of any sort whatsoever. It's just a spontaneous and immediate manifestation of profound interest.
Show interest, and go deeper. Ask your body, what is this? What is it about? Why is it happening? If you start to feel some kind of anxiety, if there are vibrations, if there's some kind of restlessness or even pleasure when you get something from life, just a little bit, like, wow, that's cool. Why am I feeling this way? Try to find the connection right now. Ask yourself, oh, why am I so happy? Why is there this vibration? What is it about? The more you show genuine interest in your experience, the more you always show curiosity. Your body will give you hints. There are signs, maybe your stomach tightens or your body shakes, but
Yes, it's truly like there's a feeling as if someone inside me is saying, "Hey, I'm here." Well,
here.
I can feel you, but I don't really understand what to do.
And now it's really quite cool. The answer to this profound question is that someone deep inside me is saying, hey, I'm truly here. Please look at me. I'm absolutely real. I'm indeed here. I'm very much alive within your very own body. But for some inexplicable reason, you simply do not accept me. Yes. So now it's truly quite cool. You vividly remember what exactly happened to me during that practice session, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct indeed.
Do you remember that?
Yes, that is correct.
You effectively scattered all the people who were, I don't know, perhaps within 3 meters of you, and your future master also flew off quite dramatically, and I myself also got thrown back about 1.5 meters from your immediate vicinity. Why did this happen? Because something significant inside you got activated. activated. It truly showed up. This isn't the very first time that during our practice sessions, something profound inside me appears. Something that distinctly says, I've been here for a very long time, and now finally someone is genuinely paying attention to me, and now I am truly going to develop and grow. Because everything within our intricate body is layered, my dear guys. Please listen very carefully. This is really, truly important. I want absolutely everyone to hear and understand this. Yes, our human bodies possess a great many sub-personalities. They appeared and are present there because we deeply wanted to be someone specific or to obtain some kind of essential protection. We had a clear manifestation. I want, or I'm not feeling well at all, please help me. The vast space, please help me, protect me, yes, within the expansive space. But when we talk about the space, you don't fully realize that a great many of these complex issues are solved not solely by the creator, but by all sorts of other intricate circumstances. I don't know, I won't, let's not give them specific names in this particular context, but they skillfully use our inherent will. Yes, it's our powerful willpower, like, guys, please help me, I genuinely want to feel safe and secure, and something or someone significant comes to you. And it shows up as a distinct feeling like, oh, now I feel considerably better. But then when your awareness profoundly increases, your energy significantly grows. And for that something, it starts to feel quite cramped within your physical body. So it begins to make itself heard quite clearly, like, hey, I've been living here for a very long time, actually. So please accept me, truly realize that I am indeed here. I want to live and thrive too. And that's exactly the precise state when your body starts to shake quite noticeably, and your inner voice powerfully says, here I am something, I am someone, I will help you even more. That's what you basically did at our training session. Your sub-personality truly showed up, scattered everyone around, and then your... Lena, are you listening attentively to me?
Yes, yes, I'm listening carefully. Yes.
And now about your current state, because I didn't really get a proper chance to talk to you thoroughly during the entire course. So the crucial question is, how exactly are you going to utilize this significant power? And do you even truly need this particular power? I mean, you consciously attracted it. So why precisely do you need it? Because on one hand, it genuinely gives you a profound sense of security. But in practical experience, I've encountered a considerable number of cases where these so-called superpowers that are supposed to provide security ultimately end up just not allowing the soul to fully realize itself. How can I adequately put it? You're already quite grown up, and you genuinely desire something more substantial, and that's precisely why, for some inexplicable reason, it's already become somewhat uncomfortable for you. So please take your time and carefully think about what you truly and deeply need.
Do I truly and genuinely need it from him, or do I not need it at all in my entire life, like completely and utterly?
Right? Do you truly need this particular subpersonality of yours to remain within your physical body? If you genuinely do, then it is essential to make a clear agreement and wholeheartedly accept its presence. If, however, you do not, then you will absolutely have to make a firm decision so that it is no longer present within your body, and then you can confidently say, thank you very much, I will live quite happily alone without you. That's precisely it. It's just like what we consistently do in our various relationships in the physical world. Between people, when you fully realize you no longer truly need someone in your life, you simply say goodbye. That's all there is to it. So, go deeply into meditation, truly feel, and then ask yourself, who exactly are you? What precisely are you? God forbid you ever give it a specific name, because then things will undoubtedly get really, really bad. You need significantly less materialization and a much greater understanding. That's precisely how you can gradually move away from it. In the end, if the underlying issue is truly serious and persistent, it will inevitably come up again, and then, of course, you'll have to turn to qualified specialists. Or to me, if you wish to work in person, you are most welcome to come.
That's
Already the very next important step, when you carefully sort things out completely on your own.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your kindness and appreciation. You are most welcome. You are absolutely welcome. It was truly my pleasure to assist you today.
Daria, you are very welcome indeed. I give you my full permission. I even opened up to you completely and absolutely.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Vadim, and a very good afternoon to all the esteemed participants. My internet connection is lagging a little bit, but I did see that the microphone was indeed turned on. The very first thing I'd like to express is that I want to sincerely thank you for all of your wonderful products, for your invaluable educational work, and for today's
Да, это
insightful
точно.
broadcast. I ended up here completely by chance, but of course, there are truly no real coincidences in life. I specifically asked for the opportunity to speak, and I also wanted to share a significant insight. For me, today, I genuinely felt that I gained immense strength and profound support from this experience because it deeply moved me to tears. Thank you so much for showing us this in such a profoundly impactful way. Your profound phrase that karma is what you have to overcome. I think that's a very important and crucial point because very often people say that karma is simply about cause and effect, and there's a great deal said about it, but it's not always entirely clear what exactly to do with it. It kind of gets diluted and loses its precise meaning, but here there's a kind of concentrated focus in this overcoming, and you can truly feel the inherent strength in that you genuinely possess it. For me, that's incredibly important right now at this very moment. So I heard you clearly, and you also talked extensively on the broadcast about situations when you don't particularly like something in your life, that there's always a significant chance to change it. Just go and decisively do it. And I understand that even my current situation is, of course, deeply connected to energy, and often it's a very big, complex, and demanding job to get your energy in proper order so you can take the necessary actions in your life that you truly need to. Is there something I'd really like to get some valuable guidance from you? And I have a very small question about the previous topic, but first, if it's possible, are there any effective ways to quickly pull yourself together to make that final decisive push in making a crucial decision? Because I realize now that my energetic state is holding me in constant tension, and I keep going back and forth, and at the same time, I'm not really doing anything productive right now. My stress has kind of consumed me completely. So is there something like that?
Yes, yes. What you need is for the universe to hit you even harder over the head. Only then, yes. It's not enough yet, apparently, for all your money to be taken away. It seems you still have some money left. Maybe you've set something aside for a rainy day and that hasn't run out yet, and things haven't gotten even worse. Only then will you really spring into action. There's no other way for a person in life. Everyone has a different level of protection, so to speak, at which they feel safe. And as long as you feel safe, you won't be able to overcome and move to a new level. You need adversity to get you out of your comfort zone, so you quit your job, get off the couch, leave a relationship, and so on. Yes, yes, yes. There has to be a really strong push from life. You haven't had that push yet. So either you wait for that push, or you can get ahead of this matrix a little and create an alternative reality for yourself. Why do we go to Vipassana retreats? Why do we stand on nails? Why do we need all this nonsense? Why do we make things harder for ourselves? Why do we go into silence for 3 days or more without anything? Well, yes, let's make it even harder for ourselves. Why do we need this point of zeroing out? I'm saying either you artificially put yourself into this state and feel it for yourself, or you wait for life to do it for you. That's what you're choosing right now. That's why I support retreats. That's why I want people to come to my practice. Yes.
That's the complete and final conclusion of the matter. Nothing more to add or discuss.
Come, that's my definitive and well-considered answer to the important question that has been posed. I truly appreciate your time and attention in listening to my response. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny little question.
All right, Natasha, you raised your hand. Someone else, right? Okay, go ahead.
You were talking and you gave an answer, and at the end you mentioned something about public figures. Yes, that's also something that doesn't come up often, but I really liked it. I got inspired by this idea that you can actually say goodbye to them as people too. That's really surprising to me because it seems like we're supposed to accept everyone, that we're all one big family and they're always with us, but you don't necessarily have to listen to them. Yes, that's it. There's something really revolutionary about that, like thank you, goodbye. So I'm kind of wondering what actually happens. Do they really stay or do they leave?
Yes, you truly have absolutely no idea. You're truly amazing for bringing up this incredibly insightful question, really.
A quick question.
So I'll say the phrase, yes, it's a very interesting phrase, they as people. But then the question is, what does it mean to be people?
But
You see, what I really mean to say is,
we perceive, well, we truly perceive things around us.
so that's precisely how we are made into who we truly are. There's this truly huge number of intricate layers, these distinct subpersonalities, a very significant number of masks that we consciously put on, that we inherently take from our beloved parents, from our close relatives, from our immediate environment, from the broader society we're deeply immersed in, from the powerful egregores that constantly surround us, and so on. That's precisely what genuinely makes us who we are. And when you sincerely want to change some individuals simply up and move to an entirely different city or even a new country, just to effectively get away from their parents, so that this profound influence is completely gone, because when we're within their energetic field, we inevitably take on their established patterns ourselves. That's why, if you truly want to change, if you genuinely want to get rid of something deeply ingrained in yourself, some people, for instance, go to Thailand or some other distant place, by carefully removing these potentially harmful programs or even just neutral programs from yourself, you gradually become much purer. The essential point is to finally hear your own authentic desires, not merely the desires of your parents, because so very often we do things not truly for ourselves. It turns out the money we diligently earn isn't actually for ourselves, but rather to definitively prove to our parents that we are indeed capable of achieving it.
That's absolutely all there is to it, truly, and nothing more.
So you say no, meaning, well, you ask a girl, for example, or you buy, I don't know, a car, and what are you doing it for, yourself or not? Many people say, I'm going on a trip, but the trip isn't for themselves, it's for their partner, for example, or not for themselves, but for their kids, and they themselves don't get any rest. You work for your kids, but you don't get any rest yourself, you see? So the more you do things for yourself, the more you will open up to yourself. Every step you take in life, you should do for yourself, not for someone else. For yourself. Did you hear that?
Yes, thank you very much. Once again, you have accurately described my exact path because I did pretty much the very same thing. At first, I ended up with my parents, everything started coming out of me, then I left them to cleanse myself. And only then, in a new state, did I start meeting with them again. And so I lost my train of thought, so thank you very much. It's time to give the floor to others. Thank you.
Yes, all right. I'm giving the floor to Sveta. Yes, please. Yes, raise your hand. Thank you. Yes. Sveta, I've turned on your microphone. Timur has also raised his hand, so please don't lower your hand just yet. If your hand is raised, do keep it raised because I can't see everyone. Natasha also raised and then quickly lowered her hand. All right, Sveta, I've turned on your microphone. Svetlana, please go ahead. And Natasha, I've turned on your mic too. Timur, if you raise your hand, I'll turn on your mic as well. Well, someone say something.
Hello?
Yes, I am listening very attentively.
Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Hello, everyone, once again. I might not speak Russian very well, but I'll try to recall the language. I'm calling from Poland, and Vadim, I have a question, as always, about this nerve wave. How does it affect our state, our psyche? On what levels does it operate? Because I also used to work, as I told you, I took some courses on Kundalini, so I have some idea of what it is, but I'm also very interested in how your nerve wave theory works.
So, how exactly does it work? The very best option is I won't explain the entire method right now. How it truly works, because there are a great many explanations available on YouTube. I talk about my specific method, I explain how it works, and precisely why you feel the way you do. Basically, Sveta, there's a lot of valuable information. You can listen to this video in Russian or perhaps somewhere in English.
All right, but it's really a significant pity, Vadim, that you don't conduct your valuable sessions anymore. Honestly, I've told a great many people about you here, but you should seriously consider coming to Poland, specifically to Warsaw, and holding your excellent courses, because there are a lot of enthusiastic people here who would certainly come to see you.
Sveta, you'll come to me in Bucharest in September, take the courses, and then you'll become the facilitator for Poland.
And listen, Vadim, I have another question. Tell me, is it enough to take just one course, like the lucky one, for example, those 3 days? Or can you come again to study with you further, or do you just need to always?
You can always come. All the people who have taken my course, Accordance Grey Computer in Bali and so on, there will always be someone somewhere, so the space is never empty. You were on this very course, now goodbye. Now you can't, now you'll never see me again. Naturally, yes, that is absolutely and completely right. As you wish. Come over, let's meet up. Of course, many times. For the rest of your life.
All right. Those are my questions. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Natasha. Join in.
Vadim, I'm here. I've joined. My time is always limited. Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Did I understand correctly that Elena, who was on 2 people ago, is that last model of mine to whom you said go work? The one with the ninja that popped out?
Yes, it's the red-haired one.
The red-haired one. Listen, I wasn't planning to work. You told me go work. And I thought, well, okay. Do you know how much I enjoyed that work? It gave me such a boost. It was incredible. And Lara even recorded a video. I rewatch it every day. I remember this Lena every day. She has such sensitivity. She needs to do something about it. This really gave me a boost. And my first model, now I see a guest has passed by. Why am I limited in time? She's on her way to see me now. We'll do it again. So the second time already. So thank you very much.
Please. See you. Nice to meet you. Let's chat. Of course.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, Timur, join in. Join in. I've already turned you on.
Раз, два, три.
Да, Тимур, привет, дорогой.
Да, здравствуйте, Тимур из Baku.
1, 2, 3.
Был вас.
Yes, Timur. Hello, my dear.
Yes, hello there, Timur from Baku. I have a very quick question for you today, if you don't mind, and I'd appreciate your time. Well, since the topic here was about karma, and based on what you wrote in your stories, that is, we can't get rid of this karma, but we can reduce it. So if I understand correctly, if I'm getting this right, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So in this case, through practice, if I have a request regarding karma, yes, I see this karma, I see some kind of image, and in this way I understand what I need to work on. So as a result, am I reducing it? So now I know what to do to get rid of this karma?
Well, you are actively and consciously reducing it, aren't you? The more diligently and thoroughly you work through it, the less of your valuable energy and focus will be directed towards it. Eventually, with consistent effort, that energy simply dissipates entirely, and the issue itself, the specific request or problem you initially came with, will completely and utterly disappear from your concerns. It's an unresolved program. That's all there is to it. So I'm not saying it's impossible to resolve. It is possible to resolve it.
No, I meant that I realized it absolutely cannot be removed, but I wanted to understand, am I right in thinking, what exactly causes it to significantly decrease in order to...
Through awareness.
Awareness, yes.
First, awareness. That's not enough. And then action. Actions to resolve this issue. So actions, what you didn't finish in your previous experience or what you still need to add. Yes, actions are essential. Actions not just in your abstract thinking, but in the tangible material world. And when you actively do something, these deliberate actions, I mean, you will inevitably feel a certain profound state. If the particular state you feel from these concrete actions is truly positive, if you genuinely feel deeply satisfied, it means you are resolving the issue quite correctly. That's it, and that's important. Every single step you take forward, I distinctly remember you are indeed a talented musician, aren't you? I clearly recall that you genuinely desire to move forward in that specific direction. And you are profoundly sensitive, incredibly active, and possess truly enormous potential, an absolutely immense and remarkable potential. You just need to focus more on putting things into practice and feel that, yes, you can do it. And who will give you that push? Who will give you the confidence that you can do it? Are you going to wait for it from your mom, like always? You have a very strong connection with your mom.
Very strong, yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, of course.
I'm working on it.
Well, then keep counting and keep working on it. How much longer are you going to keep working on it? Keep working on it. The more you keep working on it, well, it's kind of uncomfortable to leave your mom, isn't it? It's actually very comfortable because you already have everything. Why would you give up what you already have? That's how it is. So go and live your own experience. You are your own person, not you and your mom together. Your mom has fulfilled her role. So thank her and let her go peacefully. Come visit for the holidays, bring gifts.
I understand that. Yes, I understand that. I have this thing, I call it the rescuer syndrome. All my life I've always tried to save her, and then I met someone else in my life whom I also tried to save.
You already get it. You understand everything. You know it all. But when will you start doing something?
I will not argue with that particular point at this time.
Exactly, that's the question. There it is, hanging in the air. So, come on now, come right over to me, and please pay a very significant amount of money. I'll gladly take all your money. Maybe then you'll stop trying to save yourself.
I understand, but actually lately, especially after practicing and working with you, I've been both understanding and doing many more things. Because this cycle, I truly realize myself that it just keeps repeating, and it doesn't really matter that I realize it, it still persistently keeps repeating until I start acting quite differently. And even if it's little by little, I can see changes now. And gradually...
All right, I'm coming to Baku on the 26th of September.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I sincerely hope you'll, at the very least, make it to the small practical workshop. Ideally, of course, the full 3-day one, but please see what truly works for you. All right, my dear friend. Come on, Simon, please join in. I've already added you. Simon, are you going to join in? If not, and there are no more hands raised, then we'll wrap up the stream. All right, anyone else? What's up? It says Simon for me. Sisimion. Semyon. There you go. That's exactly what I was looking for. If anyone has a question, man, there are so many familiar faces. What's up with you all? At least say hi. Oh, come on. There you go. All right, fine. If not, then not. All right, friends. Then we're ending the stream. It will be available as a recording. For questions, write.
Hello. I didn't quite make it, unfortunately. Hello there, everyone. I'm afraid.
Hello. Go ahead, speak.
Made it in time.
Speak quickly.
Vadim, just now Natasha told me that I have some kind of special sensitivity. I thought, so what am I supposed to do about that? What should I do about it?
Ask her. She's the one who thinks you have sensitivity, and it triggered you.
I really thought it was true.
I'm telling you, you don't have hypersensitivity. What next?
So, nothing else?
No more questions?
So, what exactly is triggering you? I mean, does this resonate with you or not?
I guess if it truly triggered me, then it definitely does resonate with me, you know? So, I probably need to look into this.
Then yes. Go to Natasha then. I'm telling you, you don't have any kind of super sensitivity, and then you won't come to me.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's quite possible.
We consistently follow the feedback. We always go by the feedback provided. Whoever said something that triggered you, that's where you go. That's just it.
Yes, I certainly did hear that. I heard it quite clearly.
All right. That's all. We're wrapping up, my friends. Thank you all for joining the stream. Watch, subscribe, I cordially invite everyone on the 21st of June to the International Yoga Day celebration in Moscow. It will be taking place in just a few days, specifically on June 21st. That's it. And accordingly, at the end of September, we'll have another course. On the 20th, I think. What date was it? I don't remember anymore. Check the schedule. Everything is there. The announcements are there. Everything is there. We're in touch. All right. Bye-bye. It is now truly finished.